Hi ladies and gentlemen, in this instructional video you'll learn how to graph equations in slope-intercept form. While you're watching this video you'll need your math notebook, you'll need a pencil, some graph paper, you'll need a ruler or a straight edge, and your math textbook to complete some checkpoint questions that I will share with you at the end of the video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here's a quick reminder. Slope-intercept form looks like this. Y equals mx plus b. We've been studying this in Chapter 3 and we'll continue to study this throughout the rest of Chapter 3, and we'll use this form for linear equations pretty much for the rest of the school year. Please pause the video and jot down this slide in your notebook. Alright, this slide is reminding you that slope, m, can be found as the coefficient of your x term, and b is the y-intercept of your equation. This is only true when y is solved for itself. So y has to be alone on one side of the equal sign in order for you to be in slope-intercept form. Just as a reminder, slope is often referred to as rise over run. This will be very important in a few minutes when we start graphing. And b is the y-intercept. That's the point on the y-axis that the line we're going to graph is going to touch. In fact, that'll be our starting or a beginning point. All right, on your sheet of graph paper and in your notebook, jot down this equation. Y equals 2x minus 4. Underneath this equation, I'm going to just remind you that slope-intercept form looks like this. Y equals mx plus b. When we look at this form, it should be easy to point out that y is by itself on both sides of the equation, right here. M is the coefficient of x, that's going to be my slope, and b is the constant that's by itself. In this case, it's after x. So my slope is 2. Now when we're graphing, it's often easiest to consider or to think of slope as a fraction. So I'm going to write that as 2 over 1. And the reason for doing this is because when we think of slope, we think of it as rise over run. So it's easier to think of it as two values. B, my y-intercept, is -4. So just a reminder, if it says -4, just remember that that can also be considered plus a -4. Okay, I think of my y-intercept as the place in which I'm going to begin graphing. I'm going to find -4 on the y-axis. So that's the axis that goes straight up and down. So here's -4 on the y-axis. Once I plot the y-axis, or the y-intercept, excuse me, I'm done using my value for b. Now I want to shift gears and I want to start thinking about my slope. Slope, the rise over run, are the directions on how I'm going to get a few more points on my line. So I need to rise 2. If it's a +2, I will go up. If it's a -2, I'll go down. In this case, it's positive, so I'll go up 2. And then the run value is 1. If it's positive, I'll go to the right. If it's negative, I'll go to the left. Because both of these values are positive, that means I'm going to go up 2, and in this case, I'm going to go right 1. Up 2, right 1. I can continue my pattern, and hopefully you'll see that my points are falling on what appears to be a straight line. I can put some points on the left of the y-intercept by doing the opposite motion. So instead of going up, I can go down 2, and instead of going right, I'll go left 1. So I can go down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. Now I need to grab my straight edge, and from here I need to connect these points with a straight line, and I need to put arrows on both sides of the line. So my line looks like this. All right, let's do one more example. Okay, here's my example. Again, I'm going to put y equals mx plus b right underneath my equation to help me pick out my slope of my y-intercept. In this case, my slope is a fraction, it appears. So my slope is -2 over +3. And my y-intercept is +1. So I'll need to begin with my y-intercept at 1. So I'll go up, I'll find 1 on the y-axis. And then from there, I need to rise -2. Hopefully that makes sense that we'd have to go down 2. And then I have to run +3, which means I'll have to go right. So I'm going to go down 2, right 3. Down 2, right 3. Again, to get some points on the other side of the y-axis, I just changed my direction. I'll go up 2 and left 3. Up 2 and left 3. I'll grab my straight edge and I will connect these points with a ruler, and my line will look like this. Again, pointing out that I have arrows on both sides of my line. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your turn now. Please open up your books to page 197 and complete questions 1 through 3. These are your checkpoint questions. Your teacher will be looking for these questions at the beginning of class. If you don't have your textbook at home, remember that you can log on to the Carnegie Learning website and click on Resources, select Course 3, and then open up Course 3 digitally to page 197. Good luck!